The alarm in this house goes off at 4:30, and by 4:45, a fire is already going in the stove. 15 people live under this roof, 5 of them under the age of 10, and every bite they eat today comes from the ranch outside the window. No delivery truck is coming. No grocery run is planned. The mother has one question before her feet even hit the floor. Can she feed 15 mouths 3 times today, from nothing but what they grew, raised and killed themselves, and still get the little ones in bed by 9? You smell it before you see it. Wood smoke first, then bacon, then the sharp tang of coffee boiling on the back burner, because this family has never owned a coffee maker that could keep up with the demand. The kitchen table seats 12. The other 3 eat standing, plates balanced on the counter, because building a bigger table has been on the list for 2 years, and the list never gets shorter. By 5:15, the biscuits are in, not from a box. Flour ground 2 days ago from wheat the family grew themselves. Lard rendered last winter from a hog raised in the back pen. Buttermilk from the cow they milk twice a day, every single morning, holidays included. Here's a number that stops most first-time visitors cold. This family goes through 4 dozen eggs before breakfast is even served. Not 4 dozen for the week, 4 dozen for one meal. The chickens can't keep up on their own, so the 2 oldest boys are out at the coop by first light, checking nesting boxes with hands already numb from the cold. Eggs left too long in a cold box crack before they're gathered. Crouch in that coop with them for a minute and your knees ache from the dirt, and you understand something the store never taught you. Every egg on that table this morning had somebody's hands on it before the sun came up. Breakfast, it turns out, is the gentle part of the day. School happens too, somehow. Between chores, not instead of them. The 2 teenagers work through correspondence lessons at the kitchen table, in whatever gap the morning leaves them. Math problems solved in the same seat where biscuits were rolled out an hour earlier. There is no school bus coming up this road, there never has been. The nearest town is 40 minutes on a good day, and a good day is not something this ranch can count on in February. So the lessons happen here, wedged between the coop and the barn, graded by a mother who is also somehow tracking 4 dozen eggs, 3 loaves of bread, and a storm front that hasn't even shown up on the horizon yet. Before the dishes are even dry, the mother and the 2 middle daughters are out at the barn for the second milking round, because a cow does not know it's still early. 18 gallons a day, split between the table, the butter churn, and a wheel of cheese aging in the cellar that won't be ready for another 2 months. The barn smells like hay and warm animal and the particular sourness of milk that's been sitting an hour too long in the summer heat. One of the girls presses her forehead against the cow's flank while she works, out of habit more than warmth, and tells you this is the only 20 minutes of the day nobody asks her for anything. The real test starts at 9, when the mother pulls a hog quarter out of the smokehouse and lays it on the block. This is where the family's food actually comes from, and it is not clean, and it is not something you see on a cutting board at a store. The smell hits first. Iron, fat, something almost sweet underneath it. It does not wash off your hands for the rest of the day. The 15-year-old daughter does the boning now. Her mother taught her at 12, the same age her own mother taught her, and there is a quiet pride in the way she works the knife along the bone without a wasted motion. Ask her about the first time she did this, and she'll tell you she cried. Ask if she's cried doing it since she was 13, and the answer is no. By noon, the numbers get worse. 15 people at lunch means roughly 12 pounds of meat, 4 pounds of butter, 3 loaves of bread, and a pot of beans that started soaking at 4 that morning. None of it came from a can. The beans were grown in the garden out back and shelled by hand over 3 straight evenings in October, the whole family on the porch with buckets between their knees, because feeding 15 people doesn't actually start in the kitchen. It starts months before the food ever gets close to a plate. And it never stops. That's the part that breaks anyone who tries this life expecting weekends off. A cow does not care that you're tired. A garden does not wait for a better week. The mother has not had a single day where she didn't cook for at least 12 people in over 16 years. Ask her if she resents it, and she'll look at you like you asked something a little insulting. Raising this family this way is the whole point, not the price of it. And the youngest 3 children have never once seen her sit down before dark. The afternoon belongs to preserving, and the math turns strange fast. To get this family through a single winter, they need somewhere around 900 jars of canned food sitting in the cellar by first frost. Vegetables, meat, broth, fruit from the 3 acres of orchard nobody in town believed would survive the first hard freeze. The canner runs from 1 in the afternoon until the light starts going. Jars going into boiling water 7 at a time. The whole kitchen thick with steam that fogs the windows. The littlest kids draw pictures in the condensation while they wait for their chores. Stand near that canner for 20 minutes and your shirt is soaked through, and not from the heat outside. There is a version of this family's neighbours who still think the whole operation is stubbornness, a refusal to just drive into town like everyone else. The mother has heard every version of that comment, and she gives the same answer every time. A family this size eating store-bought would run close to $4,000 a month, money this ranch has never had and was never built to spend. What looks like an old-fashioned choice from the road is, from inside this kitchen, the only math that actually balances. By 3, the wash is on the line, 40 pounds of it, because 15 people go through clothes the way 15 people go through food. The 2 youngest are on hauling duty, water bucketed from the pump to the trough for the horses, a job small enough for their size, but heavy enough that both of them are red-faced and silent by the second trip. Nobody assigns this out of cruelty. Every child on this ranch works, because every hand this family has is the only labor force it will ever hire. At 4, the sky changes, gray, then grayer. The father comes down off the ridge early, and that single fact tells the whole family more than any weather report could. A storm is coming in tonight, and a storm means the calves in the north pasture need to be moved before dark, or 2 of them won't make it to morning. Every kid old enough to run gets pulled off their afternoon chores without a word of explanation needed. They've done this before. The 9-year-old grabs the smallest gate panel. The twins take the dogs. Nobody complains because complaining costs daylight. And daylight is the one thing tonight they cannot buy back. By the time the first fat drops hit the barn roof, the herd is in, the gate is chained, and 15 wet, mud-streaked people file back toward a kitchen that still has to feed every one of them in an hour. Dinner is where the day either comes together or falls apart. And tonight, it's a roast from the hog quarter. Potatoes dug that morning, green beans put up back in July, and bread from the same wheat as the biscuits, 12 hours and a whole different life ago. 15 plates, 15 people talking over each other at once, the little ones fighting over who sits closest to their father, the teenagers doing quiet math on who's stuck with dishes tonight. For 20 minutes, none of the labor matters. This is the payoff the entire day was built toward, and every person at that table knows it, even the 5-year-old who's mostly just interested in the biscuits. But the day isn't actually over when the plates are cleared, and this is the detail almost nobody outside a family like this one ever hears about. After dinner, after the dishes, after the littlest ones are finally down, the mother and the oldest daughter sit at the table one more time, with a notebook that has never once been digital. Every jar canned, every pound of meat put up, every dozen eggs, every loaf of bread tracked by hand against what 15 people will need to make it to spring without ever once driving to a store. This notebook is the actual engine of the whole operation, the quiet arithmetic that decides whether this family eats well in February or eats thin. Most nights the numbers work out, some nights they don't. And that's the night another hog gets scheduled, or a few more rows get planned come spring, the whole cycle adjusting itself around a shortfall nobody outside this kitchen will ever know happened. You leave this house a little after 9, the last light in the kitchen finally going dark, and the thing that stays with you isn't the size of the meals or the number of jars in that cellar. It's the fact that tomorrow the alarm goes off at 4:30 again and the whole thing happens all over, with nobody clocking out and nobody asking for a break. Would you trade a grocery run for a life like this one? Or does the exhaustion in that mother's hands, still moving at 9 at night over a notebook by lamplight, answer the question before you've even finished asking it? If a family like this one is still out there, doing it exactly this way, tell us where in the comments, because a life this deliberate deserves to be found.